Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Then and Now
You're
podcast.
listening to the Then and Now podcast.
It has been a while since we have been back. I'm your boy, Captain Diesel, and I'm joined with the usual suspects, Professor E, King of the Comics, Ethan Murphy, and my boy, Lelouch V, a.k.a. the Big Black Muffin, a.k.a. the Kratos of Gaming. How are y'all doing, my brothers?
First off, you called me a suspect, and then the unacknowledgeable nicknames that we just still gonna just stop bringing those up, bro. We don't need those. We don't need that anymore. Just
Until I'm in the grave.
2026.
You the Big Black Muffin until I'm in the grave, brother. I don't know what to tell you on that one. But the muffin aside, we have some very special guests on today, as you guys can see. Guests, could you guys please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, I'm Allie.
And I'm Des. And we are Backyard Shenanigans.
I love how rehearsed that was. That was dope. See, that's the intro. That is the intro.
This is my first time seeing that, and I appreciate it. That
was the best thing I've seen in a while. That was what's coming in here for.
So we got to up our game then. We got to coordinate one of those for us because we're slacking.
Yeah, we're terrible. We have no coordination.
You need to look like a unit.
Yeah, exactly.
We brought on Ali and Des for a very particular reason because they are part of a very interesting thing and things that I think is very valuable in the realm of artistry and just community as a whole and Backyard Shenanigans. I want to, before we get into like what it is you guys tell me in the audience a little bit how you guys got involved with it and kind of the process of going into building this up.
You're the genius behind it.
Kind of. So I had an idea for a while, knowing that Desiree was a DJ, and I have a lot of friends like in the community scene or the art community, and so does she. And we have a nice backyard. I don't know. So we decided to do something where we would showcase local artist work, and then also do performances and stuff like that. But yeah, I just approached Des at Tri-Main the one day and was like, you want to do this? And she was like, yes, this sounds awesome. And then after that, we just kept meeting up and just putting our ideas together. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we pretty much live in the same house. Like, we're neighbors. I'm upstairs, she's downstairs. We have a really cool backyard. And I have kind of been like maneuvering the art scene since I was 17 out in Buffalo. So I've kind of made like a lot of connections over the years, generational connections. As like an event curator, gallery manager, DJ, community organizer, a whole bunch of other things. I don't like to really hold titles or anything like that, but I guess that's how I was being viewed in the community. And Ali pretty much wanted to like become a little bit more embedded into the art scene, but kind of like cautiously, and was like, hey, like how about we do like an art exhibition pop up in our gallery, in our backyard, but like have like other elements added to it. Like let's have live performances, vendors, jumbo size games and whatnot. And, versus trying to go out and about and network and all of that. 'Cause there's politics to like the creative community in Buffalo. And some of those things we don't really abide by. And you got to be careful with who you're politicking or connecting with. So we were like, how about we just kind of like bring the party to us? And we're both introverts and we move cautiously, so it kind of seemed like something that would work out well, and ended up doing just that. So yeah, that's kind of how it just spawned. We was at Trimania, which, well, it used to be like every year or like every other year, a big fundraiser that Buffalo Art Studio throws at the Tri-Main building. And all floors of Tri-Main, I think it's like 6 different floors, is like nothing but art activity happening. Like every floor has something different. One floor is like fashion.
Yeah.
One floor had gaming and comedy. Another floor was just art exhibitions, performances. I was DJing that night. So, we're all kind of just seeing what's happening at Trimania. And we could do this in our backyard. Like...
Yeah, to add a little bit of extra context to this too, because I've been a part of the process from the outside in. Well, to add, Dez is also the DJ for the collective of blur parties that we've been throwing out here, Hidden Village. So
Okay, okay, okay.
her, and Ann have been kind of building out that process for a few years now. So we've been hosting these events. So a lot of some of that scene is going to be kind of be there too. And then Allie, she kind of left this part out, but she's also in the punk scene out here in Buffalo. They set up a super dope punk show that I wish I could have made it to. So they've been really embedded into the music and art community for a little bit, and they started doing these last year. Started with two of them, kind of doing their backyard. They went through the process of getting some grant funding. They connected with Bika, and they won the grant behind it, and now this is like an official event funded by the Andy Warhol Foundation too. So kudos,
and Otis
kudos
was
to them.
there to help us along the way.
Day
every
one.
time.
Yep, day one. We gotta make you sing the Backyard Shenanigans theme song with us.
No, that's
Like do the swagging circle. We say Backyard Shenanigans.
Oh,
that's a little bit too
I
whimsical
would pay
for
so
me.
much to see that. Pay money.
I pay money for that. I pay you to do that.
You should be a little bit up.
This is dope for me on a couple different levels as an avid lover of music and art. I call back to like being somebody who I've visited like a couple of high art museums like in around Atlanta and just in general, and they're interesting. Granted, I'm seeing a lot of stolen art, but they're interesting. The thing I enjoy most about like this, what you guys are doing, is the fact again you're involving art that one probably isn't stolen from this home country, but two, like you're involving an atmosphere with it as well. Because I do feel like in a regular museum is kind of like stuffy and kind of like intimidating in a way, because you just have all this art there dead silent, and you have some of the snobs that are just like, yes, I love the way that is presented on the wall, or da 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 da. But the fact that this is just something very casual, where you get to enjoy this art, but then have this atmosphere with music and every other thing around it, it makes art a lot more of a fun experience, as I think it should be.
Yeah,
That's why I'm excited. I gotta get a flight.
No
There's
white
no
walls. And it's all original artwork made by the artists that are exhibiting it, so it's not stolen.
Yeah, exactly.
On
It
a
seems more
straight-
like a celebration as opposed to like a ransom, which is good. And the idea too is sometimes art can be inaccessible. Like younger people too can kind of feel like it seems too stuffy or pretentious to really get into, or kind of feel the vibe of it. And you guys are very much not that. You guys are a lot more fun. Have a great vibe to you.
I think that was a big part. Oh, sorry.
No, finish. No, I'm sorry. I didn't interrupt you.
I feel like that was a big part of something that we wanted to do as well, was that I felt like the scene, like the art scene in Buffalo is very cliquey and like, I don't know, like kind of weird. You show up to an art event and like, you kind of, like everybody is just either with other people or you're sitting there like in the corner trying to like talk to somebody, or maybe that's just social anxiety. But I feel like this like approach to it makes people want to interact with it more, makes people want to interact with each other more, because you're just outside like playing and creating together. So I don't know.
Absolutely. We have like this giant canvas that we was allowing people to just, like Ali left paints out and paintbrushes, a bunch of paints and a bunch of paintbrushes, and everyone just went to town on the giant canvases and was making friends as they was doing it. We had the huge Connect Four, a huge checkered board, and there was just so many bubbles, performers, vendors. It was just like, if you're not engaging with the art exhibition directly, you're engaging with people around you. And you're doing so, there's no pressure whatsoever to do it. And it's like, where you have like with traditional galleries, the stuffiness of it and the elitism that is kind of passed down to our creative community, where you're going to all these art events that say that they're for the community and are to cultivate community, but ultimately it's just cliques. And everyone's kind of like off to their own clique. No one's really engaging or meeting, and then, what we're doing and how we have all these different things in place, and there's things that are like nostalgic as well. Like everyone is just like, oh, when's the last time I played Connect Four, or when's the last time I painted? Everyone is kind of like coming together, and there's not like anything, there's no like trauma bond or anything like that bonding people together, or mutual hatred. Is just like, let's just have fun. A lot of people have told us that they made friends. They've made new friends, people that they never thought they would have connected with or would have fuck with them, like are now friends with them as a result of like, our events that we had last year. So
That's
yeah.
amazing. It sounds like an actual like a modern day like block party. I know block parties. I'm as y'all know, I'm very very old. Back in the day, when I was a young whippersnapper, we used to have block parties, and so it used to be kind of promoting the idea of actually bringing people together, having the community come together. This sounds like that, but an elevated version of it, having art at the center of it too, and kind of celebrating the work that we're doing there in the community, which is great.
Mm-hmm. A question I'd have is, you guys mentioned a lot of like the clicky stuff and maybe some of the difficulty with navigating the community, but when curating these events, what are maybe some difficulties you guys didn't foresee going into it, maybe from a organizational lens or in general that you guys had to kind of like learn to adapt to?
Different personalities. So with this project, we have 20 people on the project, right?
Yeah, there's like curators and
collaborators, videographers, photographers, content creators, staff members, and then there's us. So I would say the only personal challenge was really just navigating different personalities and different expectations that people have for us.
A big thing is like that we like have talked about a lot with each other is like how like trying to be professional in the setting where like we want it to be so inviting and be so playful and like we want to be, I don't know, friends with everybody and like making it chill, but then there's times that you have to step into a more like into your role as the person that's like, I don't know, putting this event on, and it's funded by a big like group, so I don't know, it's important. So
there was certain leadership qualities I feel like some people were expecting of us, but we're very like, carefree, chill. We didn't want to like rule people with an iron fist or iron fish. We didn't want to rule people with an iron fish. And we didn't want to apply pressure.
It's okay to step on some necks sometimes. It's no problem. I can feel that role. It's not a problem. Okay.
And so like, that was some of the feedback we were getting, that like people are looking to us for direction. And I think a big thing too was we wanted the curators and collaborators to have creative freedom. And while that, kind of, it sounds good, but until you're like kind of put into that position, you're just like, okay, well, what does that freedom mean? And how far, like if I have creative freedom, can I just have the whole grant for my month? Like, it could mean anything. So, like people were looking to us for direction, and we're like, okay, we're learning now that we have to probably implement certain things, but again, we don't want to cross the line to where we're, bringing out the iron fish again. Like we don't want to have to bring out our fishing rods and fish out the iron fish.
Oh man!
But what's it like having? Because you mentioned you guys are both introverts. What's it like having to have at least 20 people plus kind of looking to you for the answers, kind of having to lead that many horses to water, so to speak? I know it can be. I mean, it's just from our circles how hard it can be as far as trying to manage from different projects. What's that like on your end?
I would say we're both introverted extroverts at the same time. I think we both have a good balance of like being able to like bring everybody together and stuff like that, but then also recognizing in each other when we need like a break and needs like time and all of that. I think it did come with a lot of anxiety at first, like, oh, like this might turn into something really big, and like that's a good thing, but then also at the same time that's really overwhelming. But then every show that we've had so far, which has only been 2, but have went really smooth, or 3 actually. Yeah. They've went really smoothly, and like, I don't know, there was a lot of people looking out for us and all of that good stuff.
Absolutely. I will say for the most part it's been chill, because I think most of the people on the project, they kind of are just like us as well. Like we're working with very like-minded individuals who are on the, kind of on the same path as us with the same mission at mind. And are already doing the work that they're bringing to this project. So I think everyone is kind of like, this is going to be a breeze in the park. But now we have money behind what we're doing, because most of, I would say, like, a lot of like the DIY scene, we're all coming out of our own pockets to do these events. Like, and I think the major thing with this grant is we wanted to kind of remove that barrier for not just ourselves, but for other creatives who have been doing this consistently and are putting in such hard work, and that they deserve to be able to not have to worry about executing their vision, and their livelihood struggling in the process. So I will say, like, it's been, for the most part, it's been easy working with the group of people that we do have. We're realizing, like, we gotta communicate maybe a little bit differently or a little bit more consistently, but outside of that, it's
So we
cool.
did slightly mention earlier about the big Beacon Generator Fund, and that being backed by the Andy Warhol Foundation. Can you tell us a bit about that process of actually securing that? Because I mean, that's no small feat, and like for people also wanting to like help make art more accessible to their community. Can you give us a little bit of kind of background on that?
I feel like you like helped with a lot of that. Like Desiree can write a grant very well.
No AI, no
Yeah.
AI. I used to work for art. What do they call themselves? An art council, I guess. And I worked with this art council for almost 2 years, and I was able to gain that skill. Like, we had so many grant writing workshops that I was writing grants in my freaking sleep. So I will say, my time spent there, I was able to steal those little nuggets of information and resources, and be able to apply it for my personal stuff, but also add that to those that I am working with, and people around me, the collective that I'm in, and make sure that we're going out here and getting this money because we deserve it. And I'm just tired of seeing people coming out of their pocket for things that should just be funded. Um, but yeah, the process. So the funny thing about it is, when we had our second event, someone at the event was like, "So are y'all gonna go for the Beacon grant? Because what you guys are doing is literally what they're looking for." And I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't even think about it, because it seems like kind of far fetched a little bit.
Because I'm like, who's gonna give us this amount of money to do events in our backyard? But that's literally what Bika is also looking for. Like, they want to fund things that are very organic and authentic. Their grant is kind of designed for collectives, individual artists, or those looking to start an art business of some sort, or open an art venue.
kind of stuff.
DIY artists and art incentives, like because all of the grants that are out there is really for nonprofit 501c3 organizations, and if you aren't identifying as that, you have to go through them as a pass-through, and they still get some of that money. They get a percentage. So that's the bulk of all of the grants in Buffalo. So Bika was like, we're going to come separate from that. We're going to do something different. We're going to make sure the money is going directly to the artists or artists and venues, and no one has to worry about breaking off a certain percentage with whatever organization they have to use as a pass-through. So I think the grant is 3 years in the making. And like it came up at our second event, and I pitched it to Ali. I was like, "Hey, should we do it?" And she was like, "I'm open to it." And we had 2 weeks before the deadline. So from there, I just kind of was like, "Let's put together a brain dump. Let's see how we can do this." Because for one, with the grant that we went for, the potential, in order to make sure you hit the bullseye for it, because with how the grants work is broken up into 2 parts. The potential is the big one. The kinetics are for smaller art projects. And you're bound to get the kinetic. It's easier to get that versus the potential. Only 3 people will get the potential. 10 people will get the kinetic. So we're like, how do we bullseye this? And it just kind of felt like the only way to bullseye is if this is a collective thing. And, versus it just being us doing what we initially did, like throwing events in the backyard. And then also we have to be careful with like music performances. That's a stipulation. So we can't have the showcase model either. So it's like we have to figure out how to make this how to make it make sense if we are to get funded for this. And yeah, within that 2 weeks we were meeting up with each other almost like every day, right? To kind of like map it out every other day, just kind of brain dumping. And I'm just kind of taking those thoughts and just kind of like just pouring everything out, and sat with it, read it, took it over to Bika and was like, can y'all read over this and let me know like where there might be some loopholes? And they made us aware of the loopholes. And
something that like you really had to that was important about the grant is the budgeting. Like you kind of have to write exactly for each thing like what you're going to use this for. So they really wanted to know like how are you, like why do you need this money? You know, why can't you just like do this with your own money? Which like we were we already did come like a lot out of our own pockets for this, but the type of events that we wanted to go forward with like inviting other mediums of art and like different kinds of performance art and different kind of interactive art and stuff like that. Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to do that without it. So
right.
It's really cool to hear. I mean, yeah, because so many people out there don't really know what goes into asking for a grant or requesting a grant or writing a grant, and having to kind of itemize specifically what you need is important, and making sure you can break these things down. It's really cool.
Absolutely.
Even just the idea of somebody like funding something like that is amazing to me. When you look at the idea of like the heart of art in itself, right? It's something that people did to express themselves through many different means, whether that be traditional paintings or statues, whatever it may be. So the fact that Bika and because Andy Warhol Foundation, for me, I don't know about y'all, I've only ever heard of that through movies or like shows as like this major thing. I've never even knew that was I knew it was a thing, like a real life thing, but I was like, it was this mysterious foundation that existed only in movies to me. So the fact that you guys got this in through them, I guess in a way, was dope. That's an amazing accomplishment. So congratulations to y'all for that.
Yeah.
A question I would have from an artist perspective, right? If I'm somebody who is curating a exhibit for the event, can you guys speak to maybe experiences that the artists have like kind of given you as far as feedback goes, and where they may enjoy this more than like a traditional museum where they have to, have the super professional vernacular for people who are of we'll say the snobby variety when it comes to art? Like, how does this an exhibit or an experience that they would maybe just enjoy more as an artist in itself?
I feel like like not seeing your art in a traditional setting is like something really cool, because some of our artists, like we had them, like we have like a garden area with like big sunflowers, and like it was kind of like all placed throughout there. I don't know, it's just cool to see art outside even. Like, I feel like it makes people look at it in a different way than like, how they would connect to it.
I think too that like because like I think a lot of the artists in our community, I think so many of us are DIY. Either we started off DIY and then became a little bit more established, or we're strictly DIY for reasons of not wanting to merge with the elites and whatnot. So I think how they would feel about their art being well received in a less traditional way is just, it helps them to feel that much more authentic and well received, and feeling relief as well, because like there's no pressure there. There's not someone who doesn't get it, who's probably being judgmental and critical for no reason. You're around people who are just like you, and I think it's something that like energizes a lot of the creatives in our community. Like so many people are super anti-establishment, so we're grateful to be able to be in community with such individuals. They're very inspiring to watch, and you learn so much from them.
So how frequently are you guys doing the events themselves?
Every month.
That being the case, how do y'all like fight burnout as far as that goes? Like, I get the feeling like organizing this size of an event every month on top of just like regular rigors of life can be really stressful. How do you guys go about like managing that?
I still have not figured out.
I was gonna say,
I would love some advice on that.
a little bit of melatonin the night before, because like it's hard to sleep like the night before out of like excitement and stuff like that. But so our last show that we did in May, we had that show, and then the week before we had a punk show in our basement.
Oh wow!
And then after that, like in between, we had like a video like photography shoot. Right. So like that week was just like.
I forgot.
But I feel like the way that Desiree and I work, like we're both so like. I feel like we're a little ADHD. You know? Like we're just both like a little chaotic, and we both kind of just meet each other at that same like. Where each other is at, and like kind of pick each other up where each other is at.
Yeah.
So I feel like the way that we work together kind of helps a lot with our burnout, and I think even just like there's been a few like family things that we've had to like move things around for, and like you really helped like just kind of like let me know it's okay to like take a break from this too if I need to, or like I don't know. I mean, all of that stuff.
Now I would say with the chaoticness, chaotic good. Because there's chaotic bad. It's not chaotic bad, it's chaotic good. It's like you start the sentence and I finish the sentence. Yeah.
But
our
meetings definitely, like, every time we're just like, this idea, like, going back and forth. And then we're like, I think we got to meet again tomorrow so we could talk, like, through this more.
So are y'all both Buffalo natives? Are y'all from Buffalo?
I'm from Buffalo.
Okay. So I guess this would be more of a question for you since you're well, I don't know how long Des has been in the city for real, but I will say this, and again, no shade at all, none whatsoever. Buffalo is not a city that I know a lot about in regards to anything. I guess outside of some of the teams that have been there. And then I think I came up, this was a couple of years ago now to visit Otis, and I went to Villa Maria for a convention there, and I was I was surprised. I'm like, oh man, there's this amount of art and culture is like in the city. Because again, Buffalo for me has just been the city I know of because of the football team. So as somebody that's been there and can attest to the quality of art or even just the amount of talent you guys have there, what would the statement be for people who aren't aware of Buffalo and the talent you guys have there? What would you say to those people?
For me, like something I always think about with Buffalo, and like every time I leave and I come back here, I try to like view Buffalo from like somebody who's like visiting out of town. And I'm like, is this place really cool? I don't know. Like there's some cool spots, but like things like this, like the backyard shows or any, like Buffalo has a lot of really cool like underground shit going on that you kind of have to find, but like Buffalo people are really cool. So like once you get connected with people, if you just start talking to somebody at like a show that you go to or something like that, you'll end up finding like that there's really cool underground communities with a lot of really cool artists and stuff like that.
That's what's up. And Des, as an artist, is that what brought you to Buffalo? Was the art scene?
I got a little bit of lore to me. I ended up here by accident.
Oh, shameless plug for LoreCon in September.
Yeah.
I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens.
What? Okay.
My mayor is Curtis Jackson II, 50 Cent.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Lived out there for 8 years, and then I moved to Maryland. And so I was in the DMV for 7-8 years. I was a very defiant kid, and my mouth got me kicked out of the house. So I ended up in Buffalo. Okay. My sister was living out here with my niece, and she was like, "Yeah, I don't like that. Like y'all just gonna get rid of this 16-year-old because she's smarter than you." Like, so she was like, "I'm gonna take her." Like, I came out here my senior year of high school, and then ended up going to Villa Maria College. listened to Kanye's Dropout, College Dropout, and so I dropped out.
It inspired you. It inspired you.
Hey man, say man, that album did a lot for a lot of people. I ain't even mad at
Sure did.
that.
Well, it was fate. It was fate. That's cool. I love
It
it.
was.
Right on.
What would you say is like, as again, somebody that's kind of, again, you bounced around. What was the first impression you got of Buffalo, like coming here?
First impression, I would say when I first came out here, it was just peaceful for me because it was chaotic bad in Maryland. So coming out here was like, oh, I get to start over again. This is great. So essentially it was like very peaceful for me. And when I learned to start navigating, because when I dropped out of college, it was like, okay, well, if I'm not going to continue on this path, that means I really have to take what I love doing seriously, which at core, I'm a lyricist. So I'm like, okay, if I'm leaving school to do what it is that I love, and, I really want to take this seriously, let me get, a job, let me start saving some money, but let me also figure out where other people who might be doing what I'm doing where are they doing it? So at 17, I was like hitting up open mics and spoken word events and stuff like that. I would hop on like 2 different buses going to areas of Buffalo that I knew nothing about. And some of those areas I probably shouldn't have been going by myself at nighttime, but just off of faith in myself and just, I don't know, like I was just kind of like very determined to find my people and get started in what it is that I love doing. So
She was
I
gonna
think
get
the
rich
more
in that
that
train.
what'd you say? Get rich in that train. Literally.
The fact you did it in the voice kills me.
That would be in my like headphones too on my journey. So
Many
say it's my guardian angel or some shit. But like, yeah, I would say the more I started to learn more about Buffalo and I'm navigating, I think it did shift from being peaceful to me to being a little bit more like, oh, this is the other side of the coin. Like starting to see like, I don't want to be too negative. I am trying to get out of Buffalo. So I started to learn more about the city. And what I will say that I enjoy about it, I think Rust Belt cities are really cool. I think the things that people abandon or don't think about twice, or businesses that are being closed down, I think they have so much meaning to them. So I do appreciate the infrastructure, I will say. But yeah, over time it went from being peaceful and to being like, oh, like the rose-colored glasses are off, and this kind of sucks. I'm ready to leave.
Hey man, it's people like y'all that make it a place people want to stay at.
Way too small.
That's the thing. It
It
there.
is way too small. You can go to different events and see the same people. It's too small for me.
Fair enough. Well, hopefully some of those people are good people. Some of them, at least. Yeah. So I have one last question myself personally. Right, before we get too much further along, though, Allie, you mentioned that you're obviously in the punk scene. Are you like the lead of a punk band? Are you you play an instrument?
No,
what do you
I
do?
wish I was, though. I want to be.
She's a punk rocker. Yes, she is.
That was something I was gonna when we first started thinking about this idea. Like, I was like, you're more involved in like the DJing and like the hip hop scene and all that, and then I'm involved in the punk scene more. And like, can we collide them together? Mm-hmm. And like, that was something that I really wanted to do, because a lot like some of the artists that like I've reached out to is like, I don't know how like that bill would go, like mushing all of those sounds together. Like, would that flow well and all that?
Oh, right.
It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. That's one of my goals, to try to find ways to collab the punk scene and the blurred scene with Revenge of the Blurs. Yeah. But we'll talk about it another time.
Yeah,
because there are definitely a lot of blurs that, of course, love punk as well, and punk is very these days is very.
I don't think it's possible. I think at this point, I feel like there's starting to become more artists that are either underground or mainstream that are starting to make that part of their thing. Of like, again, I'm a big Denzel Curry fan, so I think he's like, yeah, he's blend like doing a little blend there. Like you'll see a lot of those artists kind of do that. So hopefully that can be more of a thing over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually years ago. I was actually on a lineup with twice with like punk artists, but like I think because of just how things are changing with trends, influencer culture and like all of that it just kind of seeped into the scene and how people were starting to maneuver. And I feel like with Buffalo, fashion is kind of taking precedence. So people are kind of emulating the fashion industry and more concerned with aesthetics. But definitely 2013, 2014, like that's what, at least the bills that I was on, like there were punk artists and then there were like more underground rappers, and the type of style that I have kind of meshed well with it. So when there was venues like Sugar City before they got closed down, and other punk houses, like there was a punk house called Hoyt House, which is like off of Elmwood and Forest, I believe, near Buff State, and they used to do basement shows. Like that was my first time getting like I guess emerging from the open mic scene to the hip hop scene, like that night, like in that basement. I met so many cool people. It was a show.
Shows are really, really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up going to Noiseland all the time. And that was on Hurdle and Delaware, I think. Yeah.
We were just there.
And having a basement show here, like a basement punk show, was really, and
so
the our first like Backyard Shenanigans show for the season, we had to end up doing that in the basement too, and that was really cool. Just like using all the spaces and experimenting with that.
Yeah, we're like low key becoming an art punk house, and I love it.
I love it. Yeah,
that's cool. Like 100 people, so like 100 plus people. Yeah.
How big is his house?
it's not small. In a manner.
God.
The neighbors are mad.
I can see why. Trying to back up the driveway and 15 cars on the street. Okay, so we brought up some of the stuff that we enjoyed. This is where we kind of want to have a little bit of fun and ask you guys a little bit more about yourselves in regards to hobbies, right? As artists and creatives, we create and display a lot of art and stuff. But as far as consuming, what are the favorite things you're into? Whether it be music, anime, movies. What are you guys into? What tickles your fancy?
Right now, I guess. Okay, lately I've been listening to a lot of Grateful Dead
Okay.
and like Rolling Stones. I'm trying to like listen to like more high vibrational music in the summertime. I don't know. Also a lot of Rage Against the Machine. Like I like the like energy in the summertime. Yeah, that's what I've been listening to like the past couple weeks because the weather's so nice, and I'm like, I need.
Do you collect vinyls?
I do.
I get the vinyl. She likes collecting vinyls. Okay. I didn't even see him in the back. That was just me off the vibes. My bad. Desiree, you. What's up with you?
What has been tickling my fancy? I would say music-wise, I'm back on my Kid Cudi kick, which feels really good. It was a while I couldn't listen to him because so silly. I was dealing with someone who was also a huge Kid Cudi fan, and I was like, he ruined Kid Cudi for me now. Like I'm back on my Kid Cudi kick. So been listening to a lot of Cudi. And B.O.B. I love B.O.B. I'm tired of hiding it. Like I'm going to say this proudly.
Yeah, like,
yeah,
I can tell you was outside in 2013.
Oh yes. 2008, 2000. Like I love me some B.O.B. So I've been revisiting like some of his older stuff. Not really a fan of the newer stuff. Like anything out after B.O.B. versus Bobby Ray. Well, actually that came before the album. The Adventures of Bobby Ray. So anything after that, I'm not really cool for. But yeah, Bob and Cudi have been tickling my fancy, and starting to fall down the rabbit hole on YouTube again.
What are we watching on YouTube?
Yeah.
The last thing that I have, and I gotta rerun it back. The like Eminem-sized hole in America about how like
I sent that video to like 3 of my friends. That is a fire video essay. Yes, that is a fire video.
Yeah, how all these little alt-rights they're misdirecting your rage, and they don't have like an Eminem or Marilyn Manson like we did when we were coming up. So we were raging correctly, and they're like raging incorrectly, and people out here saying like, when were bikers alt-right, like so like. Yeah, that's the last thing that I've watched on my YouTube rabbit hole. I thought it was really good, and I want to run it back.
Yeah, don't get me on a tangent, boy. 'Cause I could talk about that video.
I've been watching The Sopranos.
Oh,
I need to start that.
That's a classic.
so are you? Do you know any spoilers? Have you avoided all spoilers for the show?
With The Sopranos?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've been avoiding the spoilers.
That's
I don't
impressive.
know, because there's so many.
Okay.
I'm very I don't know. I choose to not when I see something, I'm like scroll. I don't know.
You have willpower. You have restraint. Okay, that's good.
I turn my ears off anytime somebody's talking about it.
So in the last episode,
yeah, that's the main.
We're legit fighting, nigga. I ain't gonna hold you. I will have to
That's the
fight
last.
you.
That's the big thing. That's the big thing.
Okay,
I'm
well, she's pretty much at the end, y'all.
We'll say about that. Okay.
Yeah, don't spoil it for me. Maybe you're like me where I'm really good at avoiding spoilers, but I feel like even sometimes when I hear spoilers, I don't know that there's spoilers for that particular thing until I watch that thing. Like I would hear a trend or a meme or something like flooding up. I think I watched Boys in the Hood a couple months ago before the saxophone meme started to go off. So now I know what that's from. But if I'd have watched that, if I would just heard the trend before I watched the movie, I would have known. But that's usually how things go for me, where I'll consume it but not know where it comes from until I watch that thing and be like, oh, that's what it is. Gotcha.
I watched that literally 30 some odd years ago. That's wow. I know. God, Jesus. I apologize. I had a flashback. I apologize, y'all. Let me throw a show off the rails.
and now knowing that the theme for Backyard Shenanigans as a whole is childlike whimsy and wonder. And even to this one, along with the comic art display that we're doing, we're also gonna have a Beyblade tournament going on too. What
I
were
wish I had money to get up there, man.
man? So what were some of the things that you were fixated on as a kid? What were your TV shows? Were you a Nick kid, Disney kid, Cartoon Network? What was your thing back then?
This gives me Rugrats energy. I'm not gonna lie.
I was definitely a WB kid. So when I was living in Queens in my grandma's house, we didn't have cable. But when I was with my babysitter, she had cable. So that's when I got introduced to Toonami. But at core, I was a WB kid for sure. And PBS kid. I was a PBS. Oh, I was a PBS kid. So
Watching
PBSkids.org.
what was it? It was Rough Men, Word Girl,
Dragon Tales.
Dragon Tales. Yeah, they had
Dragon Tales. That was a big one.
I'm trying to remember. They had a lot. Honestly, PBS lineup. It was elite. It was elite back then.
It was so elite.
It still
Magic
is.
School Bus, I think, was on there too, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Around the
Yeah.
same time. Yeah.
I don't think it was a consistent. At least for me, I don't think it was a consistent thing. But I remember seeing it.
Was Arthur on there?
Yeah,
I
Arthur
don't
was
know.
for sure.
Arthur, yeah.
Sponsored by the Juicy Fruit. What's it called? Juicy Fruit?
Juicy Juice.
Juicy Juice.
That is a
Yeah.
throwback.
By the way, that is the most there's no juice in juice. It's just sugar and water.
Oh my gosh. Did you guys ever get the frozen ones that
Yeah,
your parents
yeah.
would shake up?
Mhm.
It's a circle, a cylinder of sugar. Yeah.
Yes, it was like a block, and they would just mix it with the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me, it was those and the bug juices were the go-tos in the summer.
Yeah, definitely.
What
Y'all
about
have
you,
those
Ellie?
at the big art exhibits, because I'm sure it's kind of that's the vibe too. Everyone's kind of feeling wants to have a whole bunch of
The
sugar
nostalgic
water
snacks.
Huggies.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna have Huggies.
Yeah, we did have the
right
Huggies, yeah.
I'm toying with the concept of doing having a cookout, getting a grill and stuff,
Okay.
doing something like that for
She said,
the.
okay.
Yeah, let's
You had me at cook.
Hey, food ain't never a bad option, especially when you can find a grill master. Find somebody granddaddy out there that just knows that this is thirsting to put smoke some meat.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah.
Smoking. I feel like as a kid, I was obsessed with like making potions.
Potion?
Like I was not like on. I was watching stuff, but like I really was outside most of the time, and I'm still kind of like that. Like I don't get a lot of like references when people are talking about movies or like shows or actors or actresses. I'm like I don't know, and I'm literally watching The Sopranos and like old shows like Sex and the City.
Oh, gross.
I don't know.
I'm a late bloomer too. I went to a military household, so when I like left Queens, it kind of cut me off from like my childhood because I was starting to get into Pokemon, like Dragon Ball Z, but then I like had to shift from Queens to Maryland, and I lived with a military family who we had cable and all the things, but they wouldn't let me watch TV or use the computer or listen to the radio. It was crazy. I would come to school and I would hear people talking about, did you see that episode of The Wire?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, oh, this sounds like such a cool show, not knowing what it was, and then like seeing it as an adult, and I'm like, oh, like fourth graders talking about.
I had cousins like that, and I felt bad for them because we come home for the summer to visit and tell them about SpongeBob or other stuff, and they're like, for them it was religious. They're like, oh, SpongeBob's a devil. Or Harry Potter's a devil.
Of all creatures.
They couldn't watch any. Pokemon was a devil.
My mom was like that. She was like, "You can't watch SpongeBob." We watched SpongeBob. We did not care, but like she was like, "That show is not." I don't know because they swore or something in it. I don't. But it was like Fish language swearing. Like it was like.
They did have a swearing episode where they blurted it out with like dolphins and stuff. That's
yeah.
That's so silly. That's so silly.
I love that.
So, Allie, you were just outside in the backyard with a cauldron, just like figuring out what spells you're going to make the concoction.
Yeah, it's something a little more covenant, a little more
toil and
covenant.
trouble, bubble and trouble, right?
Yeah, you got a cauldron out there, touching grass.
Still have the cauldron.
So y'all have a comic curated area for the event this time around, or what is that about? I know I just mentioned it.
And so I can dive into that more. It was just kind of like a concept idea that I just kind of floated by Des and Allie a little while back. And I didn't even think that it would be a possibility to try to pull it off this soon. But, instead of like doing like your typical art gallery I shouldn't say typical, but like doing an art gallery dedicated to painted art or, what is normally curated in like the gallery scene. It was like, well, comics have hundreds of pictures of actual art pieces. Why not display those? It was like, how do you feel like about having like, a comic / zine like art gallery, like, just kind of diving into like what things like a lot of us were into when we were kids and showcasing that, because there's a lot of talented people around, and they were like, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
So
As somebody that's heavily into the indie comic space, I think that's amazing. There are a lot of different artists that, even like the painting tip, there are plenty of artists, big and small, that like do the painting thing as their thing. Like Alex Ross, I'm pretty sure if you've like watched or follow anything DC or Marvel to any extent, or even comics, like you've seen like Alex Ross painting. Like I don't, bro, is that white man is talented in regards to how he paints his stuff. And then there are just so many different artists that would love to be in places where they can get their art showed off, but comics is just very tough in regards to getting people to take on a project that they've never seen before, because usually everybody's clicked up with the big two. If it ain't Marvel or DC, people don't want to take a look at it. But if they can find areas like this where they can showcase that art, I think this is an amazing thing. If y'all want to keep doing that going forward, because I think you would get a lot of amazing pieces of art already off top, and then just what it can do for people in regards to just getting people to check out the art. It's dope.
Yeah, that's what I agree with the most right there, Dev, is the idea like this, what y'all are doing, Ali and Des, is how you're giving a platform for lots of people who don't have wouldn't have a chance otherwise to have their work seen by a majority of people, or by anybody. Oftentimes, like Dev said, if you aren't at Marvel or DC or Image, what have you, the actual bandwidth what you have to show people is very, very limited. But having anybody kind of believe in your back, you kind of that's willing to kind of put your stuff out there is a big thing. So thanks for doing what y'all doing. It really helps everybody, especially us too.
You know what I mean?
Like 80% of the battle is getting your thing seen.
90%.
Yes.
It's really cool to highlight an artist like that too, because like that's the kind of art that you just, if you're going through a book, you might pass by something and not be able to like really look at it at that from that scale and that perspective. So I feel like that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Be able to showcase that.
And then, I mean, on this show, we don't necessarily talk about it enough sometimes, but how do you feel about having some of the art that you've essentially curated throughout the course of the existence of Echelon be showcased at something like this?
Yeah, man, all those years and 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 years.
All right. What that many years? Take a couple, 2 years off. 2 years off that. But it's very, very humbling. Very humbling. Like, I mean, we talked about it a couple of days ago. Oh, how it was when we were creating. Because you guys have been with me. We make some of these things, like for Briarlands especially, right? We were making those books. We didn't see them as. No offense, I didn't think of them as art. I thought of it much more as a living story in some capacity. So the idea of actually when you take a step back and see what you and the team have made, how it actually is an actual art piece. If you look at it with absolute no context, like, oh yeah, that actually is, that piece alone is telling a story by itself, and how it actually is very telling of the artists that are involved with it too. So even beyond my own scope, giving it the chance for the team that worked on it to get for their stuff to be seen and appreciated too is very important. And I don't think I don't I'm not really introverted necessarily, but I'm very old. I'm withering away, as Charlie would say every day. So being able to be piped into like the actual kind of like the social medias and things like that actually give people a voice, I'm terrible at that. So when I have the chance to give my team a proper voice, I want to do everything I can to give them that, because they deserve it. So yeah, I'm 100% on board for this.
I'm so happy. I'm loving like all of this.
Thank you. Back off of what you were saying too about like I guess people trying to figure out what constitutes as like art, what is or isn't art. I really feel like the way that traditional galleries have set things up to make it seem as though art is only for the elites or should only look a certain way, or given the word avant-garde a whole completely different meaning than what it actually means, has made people realize that like it made it hard for people to engage with art and tell what is and isn't. Even like having art schools and art college, like
I went to art school and like it was not. It made me not want to make art a little bit. People's
dreams. Like art can't be graded. Like that was something that I struggled with at Villa Maria College, and I would kind of go back and forth with my professors on, because I'm like, you guys are asking me to paint a cup, and you're saying like realism. Like I don't know. I've always felt like that was BS. Like it has to reflect realism or whatever. And I'm just like, but if you told me to create art and say paint a cup, and I just paint 2 circles, who are you to tell me that this isn't a cup?
Exactly.
Like art really can't be defined or graded. And I think with DIY artists and creatives and collectives and whatnot are kind of like really taking that back and reclaiming it. And the more that you venture off into the underground and steer away from traditional institutions, art institutions, you start to realize, oh, art can be so many different things.
Exactly. Like, that's the problem. Is corporations are pretty much kind of, I completely agree. Putting art back in the artists and taking it away from corporate. Corporate is very much about like making it into an actual commodity, or making it into money, which is it's getting further and further away from the actual original intention of the artist. Absolutely. So I love that, like you said, as far as if you have 2 circles for a cup, if that's what the artist wants to create, by all means.
And there are people that see you too. That's a big thing. Like I put some of my art in one of our shows, and I ended up like selling like some of my pieces, and I was like, oh, like I knew how I felt about this, but I didn't think about like how somebody else could relate to it in their own way. And like, even just that, like I had people reach out to me after that and were like, can you make something for this? Or like, I don't know. And I never really like put my art out there like that, because it felt like it was just something for me. And I didn't know that like other people could feel something from it too. So I hope that like showing your guys' art.
Because that was one of our neighbors, right? It was the neighbors that purchased, or
no, the neighbors purchased some of Mary's, our graphic designer. But yeah, there was just people like
were buying art, and literally our neighbors were purchasing art at our first.
And that wasn't even our model either. Like we weren't even like, this is too.
Did not think about that.
Yeah, like people were just like, oh, can we buy this? And we're like, oh shit, like I didn't even think about that. Like, yeah.
Mhm.
But from y'all's viewpoint, how does it feel being seen? Like you said, Ali, how does it feel being seen by your neighbors or friends or even strangers when they do buy your art?
It feels really good. But being seen like is something that I'm getting used to. Like we were talking about. Um I love being in community and stuff, but it's really like it's different to shift into like even getting like something like this, like talking on like a platform or like our video that we made or I don't know, stuff like that is like is new, but it's like, oh, like people are interested in this too and like
Mhm.
they want to hear what we're talking about and this is how you create community.
It's
Visibility is
always. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Let me get you off.
visibility is a weird thing.
I agree. I think in the day and age of social media, to where getting views is such a major thing, the idea of being seen is because I don't. I think people, at least for me, I don't look at being seen and someone viewing me as the same thing. In the same way, I don't perceive somebody hearing me and somebody listening to me as the same thing. There's like the perception of you seeing what you think I am, and then versus taking a moment to understand what I'm presenting to you and like who I am as an individual or what I stand for. And I think that's what's important with things like this. You don't just get a look at the art as like a picture on an easel, but the person next to it, or even just what that thing emotes to you, or what the artist is trying to emote with that emotion and with the colors or the brushes. It is dope. It's always dope for me.
Yeah. And have you guys had a chance to hear? Hopefully, you have had a chance to hear direct feedback from the people who have appreciated the art that you've made at the expos and shows.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of good feedback. Even just even just the amount of people that were like, hey, like, if you guys want to, like, if you need help with anything, or like, I would like to contribute in this way, and like, I don't know. Yeah, that was interesting. And then, yeah, the people buying my art was just very. I don't know why I was surprised, but I kind of was. I was like, oh shit, like this is cool.
Did you cry? If you cry, it's okay. There's no shame in crying.
The piece that I sold was one that I had been working on for like 3 years and like started working on it and then like stopped working on it, like moved it through apartments with me. And then I started working on it again like after my dad passed away, and it was like a big like thing for me. And then I don't know, a big thing with my art is like you also have to like let it go, like, and just know that that was like you at one. It's a story, and I didn't even sign that piece of art. And I was like, maybe one day if I'm like Van Gogh or something, and somebody has that piece of artwork, like it's not even signed. They're like, we have an original. Like I don't know.
That's dope. It's incredible.
It's like the original alley. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Congratulations.
Now, one question I wanted to make sure we asked was before we get out too, with getting this, what's next for Backyard Shenanigans? Like, as even as like we get past the duration of the grant, is this something that you guys want to keep going? Do you want to build upon this? Could this be one day a Backyard Shenanigans Fest, Backyardigans Fest?
Backyardigans.
Yeah, that's what we.
That was going to be our name originally.
Yep. It was supposed to be Backyardigans.
Yeah.
And we were going to dress up like that.
That's fire.
I would pay for that too.
I need to pay Otis to sing the theme song now.
Yeah. Pay Otis to dress up like that and then exactly.
Mm-hmm.
No, we should use that person.
We should.
Your backyard. Wait. Oh, is this what is in here?
Yeah.
I would like to like branch out and use different spaces. And, I don't know.
Yeah, we want a bigger outdoor space. That is the goal, especially to get away from our neighbors. Like, I mean, our neighbors are cool, but like they're not that cool.
They've showed up and stuff, but like we live in like I don't know. The houses are close together here, so it's like some people get it and some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's been like mean. We did get the cops called on us for the punk show, but it was like the last moment of things, like after things had already ended and people were just like hanging out. And that one was a little different, but
I feel like if you're a punk show and not having the cops calling you, you're not quite doing your
Yeah.
job, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So, yeah. Would you guys
Yeah.
consider possibly kind of somewhat franchising? We're going to different cities with this idea.
that would be cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to bring more people to here as well. Like if we do continue to get funding and stuff, like there's a lot of people doing cool things everywhere. So like
I think, hypothetically, creating like a Backyard Shenanigans tour would like bring more people to Buffalo Big, because they get to experience a piece of it there. And if they get like a bigger and better version of it here in Buffalo, they're like, oh, I love that. Now I have to go out there. So
Yeah, I can see it's been a really, really cool tour. It seems like it's almost designed for that kind of nomadic sensibility.
Mhm.
That works.
that'd be really cool. You guys are giving us some more ideas.
Hey man, you can get it for free too. I ain't gonna charge you.
Well, yeah, to keep growing as an art punk house space as well, being an alternative, I don't want to say venue, but like alternative space for like-minded, creative like-minded to come through and connect. So, but with the backyard events, we definitely want to expand outside of our backyard for sure.
So for the people that are in and outside of Buffalo that may be interested in the Backyard Shenanigans event and have never been to one, where can they find you guys through social to get their information about maybe when you guys start up, or the physical locations? Where can people find more about this?
Backyard Shenanigans on Instagram. It's kind of written weirdly. I think it's Backyard Shenanigans with like
Two Z's.
Two Z's.
Yeah. Instead of S's. So Backyard Shenanigans, ZZ. Backyard Shenanigans.
We'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, I'm having it in the description so you can just click on it. That's funny. Oh man. But you guys personally, if you guys like, I don't know if you're like doing, well, I know you're a DJ, so you may have your own social media for like your DJ and stuff. Where can people find you at?
Desiree Key, and that is Desire with an extra E. That is Key with 2 E's, not a Y. At link in the bio, bitch.
At link in the bio.
That's
I'm not worried about anything. The link is in the bio, bitch.
Y'all are funny. I love y'all. Y'all are hilarious. Otis, Ethan, what's your alley?
Yeah, Allie, you have a punk show.
You can find my art page at Milk Dud in the Playpen.
To Milk Dud in the Playpen?
Yes.
That's fire.
These names,
fire.
man. Like,
Hey, I love these names, man.
These names alone are worth it.
Yeah, I do like film photography, and then I also do painting and like mixed media stuff.
So
say less. Otis, Ethan, you got anything else you want to say to the people before we get up out of here?
Yeah, I've appreciated being a part of the experience from the beginning. I thank you for being so welcoming to me through the process, and I'm excited for the 20th. That we're gonna have a good time.
Hey, we love you, Otis. You really
good job, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite giraffe.
As promised, as Des and Ali said, we're going to have Otis join them for the next theme song. So go ahead and perform. Otis, go ahead and get up there. Do your thing.
So now I'm going to add the big blur giraffe to his laundry list of nicknames now.
We have technical difficulties. I'm not sure where he went to.
We're not doing any of that at all, actually.
All right, so thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of the Internet Podcast. Again, I know we have been very much so infrequent about how we've been going on with things, but things have been busy. Life has been busy, and we have a lot of things on the way. If you guys want to tune into everything we have going on separately, again, subscribe to the channel, and to make sure that more people see this particular video and see more about the Backyard Shenanigans, please not only like the video, but hype it. If you go to the description below on the mobile device and scroll from right to left on the description, or I think the comment section, you'll see this new thing that YouTube has where you can add a hype point. This is a free piece of points you get there that aggressively promotes videos and channels. And it was a function that YouTube put out for channels under 500,000 subs. But, you know, you tend to have the people at the top still kind of have that stranglehold on things. But if you do hype smaller channels, it does aggressively push those channels. And it does well. It does work. So again, do that stuff, do all the good things. And y'all remember to be amazing people. But before anything else, remember, first and foremost,
You're listening to the Then and Now podcast.
Period.
and we'll see you guys next time. Peace, y'all.
No spoilers. No spoilers at all.
And Supergirl has no chance of competing with Spider-Man in the box office. Just don't know.
Yeah, that's bad.